Michael came back on the mound tonight. How do you feel he came out of it physically?
It was fantastic to see Michael on the mound. Thought he threw the ball very well. Came out of it last night in a very positive fashion. And today, there's been no reports that he didn't feel anything other than normal after a start. So a really positive day for Michael and the Padres.
With the recent work that we've seen from the high leverage arms in the bullpen, how does that affect availability today?
It affects it. I'm not going to tell you what our bullpen availability is for today. But yeah, guys, it's a correct question, but there is a competition going to take place tonight that I'm not going to declare who or who's not available. But yeah, there's been some guys who we're going to be smart about. Thanks. No, you got to ask a question.
I know.
Yes, ma'am.
Why are there, I've been asking this question for 2 years, why are there high leverage arms and low leverage arms? Why can't you have a bullpen with 8 guys that can do everything?
I think that's fair. I think actually you put your bullpen together, and I've said this for years now, and I think your point's well taken, Barry. The best bullpen, somebody's going to pitch more in a high leverage role. It's just the roles of the bullpen. Somebody pitches 7th, 8th, and 9th and establish those roles. And they can be interchangeable as they are with us in some degree. But your strength of your bullpen is we're in the middle of a 10-game stretch. To the question earlier, there's going to be some players that have pitched with more high leverage, having won 3 in a row and have been in a close game last night that dictated they pitch. The best bullpens have 2 things. When everybody's available and you happen to be down, that's still high leverage. You're down 2, and if you have a bullpen that can hold it right there and give your offense a chance to come back, then that's how really good teams take place. And we've been able to do that this year with our bullpen. The second layer to that is if you have 2, 3, 4 guys down on a given day because of the workload, that those same guys can now go and pitch in a tie-up game in the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th, right, and be able to bring it home. And so really they are high leverage guys, to your point, but they have the ability to go out and be able to get the job done.
Where do you, the history of Padre relief pitching. Where do you rate this bullpen? Because the Padres, no matter good or bad, have always had a great closer and a great bullpen.
It's really unfair for me to rate it. You would have a better understanding of that than I would. I am familiar with the history. Of course, it starts with Trevor Hoffman, our Hall of Famer.
Well, it goes way back before that.
Yeah, I know there's been bullpens that have been historically good here. How I would rate ours would be unfair to knowing all the variables that to make a fair evaluate. All I can say is our bullpen's really good, and it has been a strength of this organization for a long period of time.
Have you given any thought to closing Miller more?
Yeah, Miller has closed when Suarez isn't available. Miller also, like last night, took down the top of the order. You can have your perspective on what's high leverage. 8's high leverage and 9's high leverage. High leverage is relative to where the lineup is. We've used Miller in the 7th at the top of the order. When Jason was here, we did the same thing with Jason. We used Morejon in a lane, but for example, for tonight, he might be in a different situation of high leverage. The other thing that factors in is, you look at the percentage. Suarez gave up a homer last night, so I understand the question. But I also know based on save percentage, and also just based on the fact he's been an All-Star the last 2 years, he's been a guy that's been really good for us, and he's been exceptionally good for us since the All-Star break and the trade deadline. That he pitched the 9th last night and it didn't work out, but he's also been a big part of the success that we've had and is leading the league in saves for a reason.
Mike, offensively with Jake Cronenworth this season, he's trending towards having a career high on base percentage, walking as much as he's ever walked before. What have your thoughts been on his season at the plate?
Quietly good, to trending towards great. And I'm glad you brought it up because he's put a lot of energy and time into it. The swing decisions continue to be good. The on-base percentage, as you mentioned, is really high. He's been more consistent against lefties this year. His approach he's got two things working for him in concert consistently, and that's having a good stroke, nice short stroke, coupled with a good approach. Those two things are in concert, and you're going to have good at bats. Good at bats mean more walks and more hits.
What has been the key about Pivetta to having his production go to another level this year?
I think a lot of things, quite frankly. But I think Nick's gotten to that point where, he's gotten the ability to have that sweet spot in his life where he's gone through a lot of different experiences and as a starter and worked through getting deeper in games and what pitches work for him, how to turn over lineups. So that's been probably a work in progress for him for probably his big league career as a starter. And guys get to that point in their career where they learn to do that. I think also he's, really comfortable with who he is and how he operates here and the game plan here. And he's playing with a good team.
Randy tomorrow?
Yes, Randy tomorrow.
What do you think about the way he is? Last year he got sent down after the trade deadline. This year he gets sent down after the trade deadline. What do you think about the way he's met the moment when you've asked him to come back up and help him?
I don't know. There's enough superlatives to really articulate appreciation and gratitude for what Randy's done the last 2 years. He's been that up and down guy, and he's done exceptionally well when he's been able to be here. He's done what really ultimately is the number one job as a starter, to give your team a chance to win games. And he's kept a really positive attitude in a very tough circumstances because we've had a lot of moving parts. He's been, between Joe last year and Michael this year coming up and back, and you this year, and last year a little bit more, add Nicky in, and, because Dylan's been a stalwart for us the last couple of years, taking the ball every, 5 or 6 days, whatever we've asked him to do. But that's put Randy in some situations where he's in and he's out. But he's also right there, behind Dylan is the number of starts he's made for this team the last 2 years. He's done a nice job.
Do you think he's done enough for this to be his spot for the rest of the year?
I think we're going to continue to be fluid and look at it. I mean, it's like bullpens we've talked about. Nothing's in a silo in this deal. It's a lot of moving parts. There's matchups. There's extra rest. That's one of the things that Randy's been a benefit for us, because some of the times it's not been a situation of somebody coming up for Randy as much as been we want to we have somebody else, whether earlier it was Kolick or whether it was Berger or whether it was Hart or whoever it was, that we wanted to slide into the role and give some of the other guys an extra day, and so that may come into play as well.
And rest was part of the equation for Randy too, because he's pitching more than ever too for him.
And his own rest was part of the equation. It's that's why these answers can get deep and complex, because they're not in a silo.
Mike, I know you don't want to put the cart before the horse, but that's not going to stop me. How much?
It's not, is it?
No, it's not.
Yeah, no, man, I'm grateful for it.
How much are the next few weeks about figuring out how your playoff roster might take place, especially on the pitching side?
I think that today dictates our ability to be in the playoffs and to put ourselves in the best position in the playoffs. So, I know it's. I mean, look, you're mindful of it, you're thinking of it, you're clearly planning for it, but I do know it's a trap if you're starting to set up things now for something that's going to happen in October, when October's not guaranteed yet.
Did Bogaerts get his imaging yet?
Bogey's been cleared to accelerate his baseball activities, and it's going to be a day-to-day situation. But I met with him just a moment ago, and he's going to go as tolerated, and he's going to go based on how he feels, and then we're going to progress him baseball-related on a day-to-day team bogey meeting.
That means there's been enough healing that's taken place to clear. Is that what?
That's correct. Yeah, that's right. There's been enough healing. He feels good. He's recovering well to where, like today, did some side-to-side work. He's starting to hit, and we start the baseball progression and see if it gets interrupted or see if it's able to continue to gain momentum.
And the boot is gone?
I haven't seen it. Yeah, don't want to.